I can't even actually believe that people they perceived this as FUD. After reading some more articles and listening to what other people are saying on social media, I realized that the Swift-ConsenSys collaboration and the big announcement that they made yesterday was actually perceived in the industry as FUD. That's actually quite surprising to me. It just goes to show that we all have a different perception and perspective to things based on how we feel or how much information that we have and perhaps how much knowledge we have about a particular thing. Because if you know enough about Ripple, XRP, the XRP ledger, cross-border payments, tokenization of real-world assets, and how far things have gone in terms of legislation and regulations and actual implementation of this infrastructure across the world, then you would know that there's nothing right now like what Ripple has done. And what Swift is talking about with consensus is if you were to roll the time back to 2010, 2009, 2008, what Ripple was doing way back then. That's what they're doing now. This is proof of concept, a prototype. This may or may not work. This may or may not happen. I didn't realize that people actually took this as FUD. And I found it quite hilarious going through social media and reaction, people talking about XRP killer, Ripple killer. What? That's so funny to me. I mentioned in my video yesterday that it's like they're reinventing the wheel. Someone's come up with, hey, look, if you take bread and you slice it and you put it on some fire, it gets toasted, and you can take this butter thing and it tastes amazing. This is what's going on here, right? Someone is prototyping. Now, let's contrast that to what's actually going on with Ripple. If you follow Ripple's social media account, X or what have you, Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple, any one of those top executives, they're constantly tweeting what's actually going on in the back. So even if you don't understand much about the back end of things, or if you're not keeping abreast of it, or if maybe the YouTube videos that you're watching aren't telling you about these things, then it's worth following some of these CEO level people. They tweet out really good information constantly. There's this one retweet that Ripple did yesterday or a couple of days ago of Cassie Craddock's post, and he said, earlier this week I posted about the Downing Street roundtable during President Trump's state visit to the UK, and I attended that alongside representatives from the UK and US government and financial and crypto industries. This meeting was the precursor to the announcement of the UK-US Transatlantic Task Force for Markets of the Future, an important initiative which will build on the deep and enduring partnership between the UK and the US in financial services. If you scroll along to the third paragraph, you see, as a US headquarters company with a major presence in the UK, Ripple is well placed to leverage its strong transatlantic footprint to further drive the US-UK tech innovation, and we are looking forward to contributing to the work of the task force. Now, actual release on ripple.com as well. If you go read that, I'll leave a link to all this stuff in the description as usual, where I go into full detail about what the US-UK collaboration is all about and how Ripple fits into all of this other stuff. So we're talking about that kind of government level, central bank level stuff of something that already works, that's been demonstrated to work by pretty much thousands of banks in the world already, central banks of major countries like the UK, and huge institutions like the Imperial Business School. That's my alma mater, by the way. Shout out to Imperial. So this is what we're talking about. We're not talking about, bread and butter. Let's see if this works. A bunch of developers doing this and that. I know Swift is a, global organization, and consensus is a huge blockchain company. But what they're working on is proof of concept to upgrade a network. This is like going to a vintage railway line and trying to add, electricity to it or whatever, to move it from steam engine to electric engine when we have levitating bullet trains in Japan, if you know what I mean. So that's what we're dealing with at the moment. Another thing that I noticed with this announcement is that they slipped in real world assets and tokenization right at the end of the announcement, as if to say that they're doing something about that as well. What they're talking about now is a prototype for a network that can work in tandem with the existing old Swift network, but with the blockchain, right? So they'll probably be working with an oracle like Band or Chainlink, and of course consensus will be dealing with all of that. But by dropping in real world assets and tokenization, kind of reveals the agenda of this news release. It's supposed to attack people's minds, people who know not as much maybe, or even people who know a lot about the XRP ledger and they don't look deeply enough into what Swift is actually doing and how far they actually are or not in this case, then that might get into your head that they're somehow in competition with Ondo Finance or XRP Ledger in RWA tokenization. This would have to come after they've already developed this cross-border payment system and it works eventually, sometimes in 2035. Then they have to build prototypes on tokenization, etc. At this time, would be living on Mars or something. So this is just not even a thing at all. And them slipping in that real world assets and tokenization line at the end of the paragraph is just super cheeky, if I may say, and kind of exposes their agenda. Now, talking about real world assets and tokenization and stuff that's actually working right now, you have, RLUSD liquidity now live on BlackRock's Build and Van Eck's VBill. CEO Carlos Domingo spoke with the Rollup Co. to unpack new utility for tokenized treasuries. I mean, it's not even close. This is stuff that's already working. Let's listen to what and why the XRP Ledger and RLUSD is kicking a lot of behind in the industry at the moment.
Securitize is partnering with Ripple. Regulated yield-bearing assets move with stablecoin-like speed and flexibility.
Look, in traditional markets, I have very high quality collateral. But the problem is that collateral, which is very high quality, it moves very slowly. Because when I want to post it as collateral or move it, or when I want to lend against it during the weekend, etc., those options are not available because markets move at the speed they move, and sometimes they are closed, etc. I said in crypto, people tend to use, either crypto assets or stable coins to post as collateral, which move very fast, right? So I think that, tokenized treasuries like BIDL or VBill, they kind of merge the best of both worlds, right? They give you the same high quality, assets that you have on TradFi as collateral, but they move at the speed of stable coins.
That's actually crucial. So the speed at which the collateral itself moves, not just the fact that it exists on a plane where it's now tradable with an order of magnitude more possibilities, the movement speed, that's actually something that I never really put that much of a thought into. That's going to be quite important when this stuff really gets going. The ability to move collateral at the speed of stable coins, across borders, etc. That's actually quite interesting.
But now, of course, if they get liquidated, they need to be moved back into digital dollars, right? Tokenized dollars. This is why integrating, tokenized treasury funds like BIDL and VBill with stable coins like RLUSD is very critical for the whole thing to work properly.
You could just see the coin drop for everybody there, like not even close. So rest assured that this whole Swift thing, it's not even FUD. Right? It doesn't even qualify to be FUD. So forget about that. Instead, think about stuff like this, which is going to bring a lot of liquidity into the ecosystem. Think about the fact that October begins tomorrow and we're going to get back to back ETF announcements through the month. October as well, traditionally, is an up month for crypto. And by the way, even though everything is being doom and gloom in one way or the other, actually, XRP price has recorded a quarterly close and may trigger a rally towards $15. I'm going to talk about that in the next video. Not financial advice. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.